I'm going to preface this review with the statement that I never beat Strider Mountain. I played probably for an hour and a half longer past where I currently have Source Mod Spotlight uploaded to this channel, but I did not get any further than that. I do not think it is a horrible mod. It has an interesting premise, good modeling, good modifications to existing enemies, and good looking level design. I stress looking because the reason I did not complete this mod stems from the level design, not from the looks, but from how it affects the gameplay. Half-Life is a series which is entirely dependent on good storytelling and gameplay through its level design. Gordon Freeman is a silent protagonist, so there is no storytelling coming from his voice. Half-Life has no cutscenes, so there is no storytelling or gameplay hints coming from there. Strider Mountain's level design has a core issue in the way it dictates gameplay and story. From a story perspective, it simply doesn't make sense most of the time. The game supposedly takes place at the peak of a mountain where a Combine factory builds Striders. That's a really good core concept that could make for some excellent and unique level-driven story. Imagine climbing a snowy mountain peak, fighting on the cliffs against Combine forces up to a factory located on the top of said mountain. The further you climb, the less and less natural the level becomes, gradually replaced with Combine architecture like you would see at the Citadel. Finally, you enter the Strider factory, which should look like the Citadel did in Half-Life 2. After all, we saw that the Citadel was used as a synth production factory. Instead of this, however, Strider Mountain gives a hodgepodge of level designs that change so frequently I can't imagine the game actually taking place on a Combine-controlled mountain where a Strider factory was built. There are some snowy regions that play on the verticality you would expect in a mountain region. Regions that play up the Combine architecture, as you would expect. But on top of all of that, there are railroad yards, grassy flat roads, something akin to a city center, office buildings, mines. It's confusing. And confusing is the second issue, and the one I'm most critical of playing this mod. Confusing story is acceptable, but when the gameplay itself becomes confusing, things change. Now don't get me wrong, I love a good puzzle. I love a game that makes me think. Games like Portal and Metroid thrive on giving you a challenging experience through their level design, and those are some of my favorite games of all time. But there's a difference between challenging and confusing. Levels are always built with certain visual and audio cues to clue you in to what you should be doing. Strider Mountain is missing a lot of crucial cues. The mod attempts to remedy this by adding cutscenes which tell you what to do and where to go. Good cues built into the level design are why Half-Life doesn't need cutscenes to tell you where things are and where you should be going, and it benefits greatly from it by never needing to take you out of the game. But even with the cutscenes as a band-aid to attempt to cure the confusing level design, I still found myself wandering, backtracking, and generally finding myself lost with no ideas on where I was supposed to be going multiple times. Ultimately, this ended my interest in the mod, as the more and more I played, the more and more I found myself getting disinterested as I wandered around an area looking for the way to proceed to the next level. So I didn't finish the mod. Do I think it's bad though? No, I won't say it's bad, but it's also not very good, and it has some very core issues that need to be addressed in the mapping. Anyway, this is my first attempt at a review of this type as a replacement for Source Mod Spotlight. I will continue to go back through the mods that I've done on this channel previously and review them as well. Once I finish up doing all of those, I will start uploading regularly again with Half-Life 2 cool mods and new reviews of different mods that I haven't featured on the channel before. I'm not sure that the length will be consistent with the length of this video. I notably had quite a lot to say from a critical perspective about this mod. Future mods, especially really short ones that I've done, probably will not have such lengthy reviews. I mean, this is only 6 minutes, but lengthy enough. Depending on the mod, things might change, but thank you for watching anyway, and take care.